Put on your mental track shoes and run with me. This is the Powwow with Myra. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Powwow. Today's guest is Natalia Shepler. Natalia is a co-owner at Stoic Jiu Jitsu and CrossFit 287. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me here today.
All right. Yeah, no, it's an honor as a student. So tell me a little bit about you, what Stoic is, and what you do at Stoic and at CrossFit.
So having CrossFit and Jiu Jitsu at the same time, it can be very, very challenging because it's like it is running two businesses. 'Cause pretty much both of them are very, very similar. They are both very, very challenging. It takes a lot of work, especially CrossFit, because you got to fill up a lot of coaches, a lot of hours, and then with Jiu-Jitsu, you got to make sure to have the right coaches. Like not everybody can just go ahead and jump and lead a class. We got to make sure they know what they're doing. So both are very, very challenging.
Yes, yes. I can't imagine just myself, running one business alone. And then you have another business where you're in charge of, students, staff members,
Yeah.
and all those things. So I can't wait to dive in a little bit of like what brought you to where you are today. Um, and, you speak two languages too, right?
Yeah, I have a very, very strong accent since I'm from Argentina. Most is like in Spanish, very mixed up with Italian. So my accent, I
Oh,
will never will lose my accent. I put it that way.
I like it. No. And do you prefer, doing it in English or Spanish?
I think in English I'll be all right. I think as long as everybody understand me and I try not to speak too fast, that will be okay.
Yes. No. So where were you born?
I born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I've been in the country a little longer than 20 years, believe it or not.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So what's it like to grow up in in a country such as Buenos Aires, Argentina?
It's like a big city. I think I've been a few times to New York, and in certain way, it's very, very similar. Um,
Mm.
and it looks a lot alike like Paris. Yeah, it's actually a copy of. Um, it's a great city. It's like right now, I feel like living in Texas. I found my spot. I really like the country. Everything that is in here is more for me than in a city. I'm not a really big city person, but I grew up that way, and I mean, I don't regret it. But I'm not crazy about cities anymore.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that Argentina was so much like New York City.
hmm
You know, I,
Just Buenos Aires,
oh,
just the
just
city, because that's
okay.
the city. Yeah.
Got
If
it.
you all go around, yeah, you find areas that it can be more like Texas, but Buenos Aires is just like big city.
Okay, I see, I see. And what was it like growing up in your household? Like, what were some of the values that,
Mhm.
say, your family instilled in you that you guys followed by? What
Um,
would you say?
so we are a big family. Have three older brothers and a younger sister. They are all spread out in the world. One of my oldest brother in Italy, my sister in Miami. We are all around, and they all have degrees except me. I always love sports. Like, sports was always my goal. Like even they were trying to lead me into do something else. Um, Back in the day, I did gymnastics. Then I did track and field. And I guess because of those two sports, I found a lot of passion in CrossFit because it kind of
Mm.
good training go along. So when CrossFit came out, I'm like, this is what I always do. Like it's combined with weights, it's fun. And I cannot see myself other way to train weights if it's not the CrossFit way, because I absolutely love all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say like did you do gymnastics and such at a young age
Yes.
or how young were you?
I was 6. I did
Wow.
gymnastics from 6 till I was almost 16, 17. And then I was training in a complex that they have many sports, and then I met people that they used to be from track, and I started enjoying the track and field. And they have an event pole vault. Since I did gymnastics, they were trying to lead me into pole vault, but I was a little too short for pole vault because
And
usually they are 400-meter taller girls, and since my size, I started enjoying it more sprint, like 60 meters, 100 meters. And it's not like I was crazy good about it, but I love it.
mm,
I found out like the track was outdoors was something that it was so cool to train. And the people I have around, I have like a good community of friends, and I love it. And I was doing track for a while, and until I did probably until I started jujitsu. Yeah.
okay, okay. And when you say you had a good group around you, what
Hmm.
are some of those good things that this group kind of had that you enjoyed? What was some of those
Yeah.
some of the good culture that you remember?
I think I've been around athletes that their goals were to try to qualify for state or regionals or even the
Mm.
Olympics was keeping me in a path that I would say in a healthy path. I never get like, as a teenager was like the right path for me. Having a big family, parents were getting at a certain point were getting divorced, and for me that was my group. That was my to go. Like
Mm.
Saturdays was, oh, you got to see compete this one, come to see, oh, he won, let's go celebrate. But it was all about athletic events. It wasn't about, oh, let's go party, or like that wasn't the main thing that I grew up with. All the people I have around me were like looking for those things.
Mm.
So when
Mhm.
I started jujitsu, I found a community that that's what they wanted to do in an older version. Like they wanted to go to tournaments, they wanted to travel the world, go and spend the night in the same. The other day, I saw one of my friends that, from long time ago from Jiu Jitsu. He's a black belt, and we were remembering that we went to Penams and we rent a room, and we were like 10 people in a room trying to sleep, and the next day everybody competing, and it was so much fun. It was super uncomfortable, but we were having fun. So I kind of grew up before with that community, with people trying to pursue a dream, like an athletic dream.
I see. I see. It was
Yeah.
just the pursuing, the pushing harder, the getting better, the grit, the
Yeah.
camaraderie with the teammates that everybody kind of had a similar
Hmm.
goal
Yeah.
to strive and work
Right.
hard and
Yeah.
celebrate together.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I can relate with a lot of those
Hmm.
feelings for sure.
Yeah.
Um and so you it's a big family. How many siblings do you have?
So I have three brothers older than me, and I have a younger sister that she lives in Miami. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very, very. And how was your relationship with your siblings growing up?
It's great. Even if we had like the distance with them, we just reunite with my brother that lives in Italy, with my sister that her daughter was having her quinceañera and she wanted to go to Paris, and we all met there. We stayed in an Airbnb for like a couple weeks, and we went around Paris, and it was beautiful, and it was awesome to see my brother. I haven't seen him in years. Um, and now his culture is basically Italian. In fact, he got troubled like talking Spanish the way she used to be. But I have a great, even if we have a distance, we communicate. We fight like everybody does with their brothers and sisters,
Right.
especially with my sister. But but no, I love my siblings. Yeah, yeah, they're
Yes.
all great in their
That's
own way. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. I mean, we all I think yeah, that what you said it's spot on. Like we all fight with each other, but at the
yeah,
same time it's family. We love each other too. And
yeah,
that's probably why we love them too cuz we fight and
yeah.
you know.
Get it that way.
Yes, it's Bailey bothering you down there?
No,
Is
she's
she
minutes
okay?
with her.
Oh,
I was
Bailey.
like, get in bed. She stay here.
She That's my dog down there. She they love all the love when they can get it. We have Harvey over here to my left. Um
You're very sweet.
so how old were you when you came to the States and why did you make the move?
Well, let's say how old I was, because I was on the state, and then I went back to Argentina around. I came to the States around 2000, and then I went back for a while, and then I came back, and that's when I came back when I met my husband, and then pretty much my decision to stay was we've been 18 years together, and my decision to stay was mostly for him.
Okay.
Yeah, because we met, and it was most for him. Well, the reason I was in the States at the really beginning was a boom. You're a realtor, you might remember this. The boom on buying an apartment cheap in Miami and sell it at expensive. So that's what my dad did. He bought a condominium in Miami, and by which one was Ocean Drive? Yeah, it was by the beach, beautiful apartment, and then he was trying to sell it. And then in the meantime, we were like traveling and staying because,
Sorry, let me get Bailey out. Bailey, go. 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 And we're back.
So yeah, it was a boom on all the apartments, and they were trying to sell it in a like we were talking earlier, in a high price, and he was having a hard time to sell. But my dad was very stubborn, and he wanted to fixate with that price because his friend did the same thing and sold it. And then that's what I stay. I was coming like I stayed the longest I could stay in Miami, then going back to Argentina. And then the crisis hit, and I went back and forth. And then one of the times is when I met Jordan, and then I just decided to get married and stay, and then come Victoria.
I so the first time that you came and then you went back,
Mhm.
like what were your goals to coming here? Did you come to visit or did you come to live for a
Yes.
little bit? Oh, to visit.
Yes, well, visit kind of because I was in the States many times when I was doing gymnastics. I traveled a few times for competitions, but I always found Miami like the most fun place in the world that you can ever live. And when all got bad in Argentina, all the group of friends that we were having two choices. One was Miami, the fun place, the weather is nice all year. You can train in a track whenever you want. You don't have winter. Sound like the dream. And then it was Barcelona. The other group were going to Barcelona, which was also another option. Because when the crisis went back in the 2000, everybody was trying to find another way because things were getting bad there. And then that's when I went to Argentina, to Miami. But Miami, at a certain point, Miami is good to visit. But when you try to leave, things can start getting a little hardish, like trying to find your own spot. It's expensive, a lot of things. So that's when I was like, well, I'm not bad like everybody else in Argentina. I can always come back, and I come back, and then I decided to stay. Then when I came back again, that's when I met Jordan, and then when Jordan is like, let's move to Texas. It's a little better than Miami, and here we are,
Okay. Okay. So
Texas.
I'm curious to know, like, as far as, your experience, you try to go to, or you went to Miami and it was kind of to visit
Hmm.
and you looked into staying there,
Hmm.
but then you realized maybe it wasn't, the grass wasn't as green as
Yes,
you thought it
exactly.
was.
Mm.
And so what were some of those things? I mean, I know you mentioned like place to live and it was
Yeah,
expensive. But if you really love a place, sometimes you figure out a way to overcome those. What were some of the other things
that I struggle.
that kind of made you go back to
Um,
Argentina?
it was pretty much like work because when I was in Argentina, I was coaching gymnastics for little girls, and I was having my spot. And good or bad, I have my job, the things what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't like find that a gymnastics place or anything that the same way. Then I was doing fitness classes. Everything it was seemed to be like. Maybe if I was putting the time, I was really young by then. I was like 23 or something, and for me, it's like this seems to be too complicated. I better stay with what I have.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then I went back, and
S-
then yeah,
Okay. So you did you look for like coaching opportunities and
yeah,
but they weren't.
yeah. They weren't like it was most of people. It was the system was very different. The coaching on the gyms, you needed to just stick with one gym, and you couldn't go to the other one. And they were offering you just one class, but you couldn't also coach in another gym. Then I needed to go through all my paperwork, and it was too much at that
Mm.
age for me. Like, and you come in and you don't know the system, anything. And I said again, I was 22, turning 23. Well, today those girls are way braver but back in the day I wasn't like that brave, so I was like, oh no. And then I went back. Yeah.
Okay, that I see, that makes sense. So you did kind of come with, okay,
Hmm.
maybe I'll
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll
It
stay.
was just the beach dream. The weather's so nice. I mean, it's Miami. Like when you're like coming for first time, everything looks absolutely fun in there.
Right.
Especially back in the day, because when I went the last time, it wasn't kind of like a lot of wasn't the same as it used to be. But it used to be like walking on Lincoln Road, Ocean Drive. People were everybody was fit, watching. It was like like they were having like on the beach, kind of like California, the same. So for me, it was fun. That's at that age was looked like the dream came true.
I see. And did you go there by yourself or did you go with somebody
With
else?
a group, we
With the
all,
group.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And in fact, I was supposed to go to Nashville for the tournament. My flight was to Miami, and we went to Miami because I had the place to stay. And I'm like, we just stayed the rest of the time in Miami, and I didn't go. They were pissed on me. I was young, and I was like, whatever. And
Yeah.
we didn't. And we stayed in Miami for like a month or something, and then we came back. Well, it was like a group thing that everybody travel at the same time and enjoy the time there, and it was just fun.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
when you graduated school
Mhm.
in Argentina, did you was that your goal? What were some of your goals, graduating from school?
Yeah, so when I graduated from school, I supposed to continue to college, and I was kind of like into. At the same time, I was doing sports, and my dad was constantly thinking and trying to push me to continue with school. And I didn't listen to my dad, but I wish I would, but I didn't. I wanted to just do sports because that was my thing, and just pursue that and keep doing that over the time. And that's the reason why I never keep going or try to do college or anything.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. No, that makes sense. You kind of had your own goals in mind
Hmm.
that didn't involve
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. And okay, so then you go back, and did you go
Hmm.
back to coaching and stuff
Yeah.
to Argentina?
Hmm.
Okay. And how much time did it go by when you decide to come back
Oh, to come
again?
back? Probably almost a year and a half or
Okay.
two. Yeah. A little longer than a year for sure. Yeah.
Over a year.
Yeah.
Oh, and did you go you went back to Miami?
I went back to Miami. Yeah.
Miami. Okay.
Yeah.
And the second time around, what were your goals when you came back to Miami?
Well, like obviously, like everybody there is from Argentina, they always like to shop in Miami. My thing, I was by them. It's not like I was bad in Argentina. Everything was like trying to go and shop and get all the electronic, all the stuff, and came back with that because it was way cheaper to buy it in Miami than to
Oh,
buy it in there, which is
okay.
like shoes, athletic shoes. Back in the day, I was buying. They were having like a sale for track shoes. They were like $5, and I was going back to Argentina and sell it to people there for 50, which they were buying it in there for 100. So I was sitting on the bleachers, and people, "Oh, you have shoes, you have shoes." So I was making good money off of that
Oh,
because I found it in a Nike place, like on sale, and they were like ridiculous cheap. And
wow.
or things like that. You come with that mentality. Oh, I buy this, and then I go back there. And a lot of people, well, I don't know if they're still doing that, but we used to that a lot. So, well, all
Okay.
the money you make, you kind of pay for the trip you did. So
Okay.
it
So
was
you've
cool.
always had that kind of entrepreneur mindset.
So try to no, it was like mostly was like leading for the group I was with.
Okay.
Like let's do that, and then Yeah.
Okay.
I never been like an initiator on that. Over the years, yeah, but back in the day, no. I was more like a follower back then.
Okay.
They were,
Why do you say that?
oh, because they were a little older than me, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like it's a good idea, and it was like, actually was a good idea because I
Yeah.
was paying off a whole trip for just selling little things.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or back in the day, it was like all the boom Victoria's Secret perfume lotions, and people were buying of you like they wanted to. So I was bringing them there. But yeah, I guess like basically the goal was coming back, get a good vacation, buy some stuff, shop around, and come back.
Bring it back
Yeah,
home.
yeah,
Okay, so that was really kind of like the intention as well. The second time around, you're gonna come
yeah,
back.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so, okay, and before we completely shift over at your
Mhm,
life in the States, um, I want to kind of dive in a little bit
mhm.
into the culture.
Yeah,
I know nobody from Argentina.
yeah.
So what's kind of like the biggest differences would you
Mhm.
say of like say here on our neighbor with our neighbors, like the culture here in Texas versus the culture in Argentina? What are some of the differences that stand out to you?
Hmm. I have like right now. It's been so many years, and I've been a while in Texas. So the majority of my friends right now are Mexican. So I kind of like, uh, I am with that kind of culture right now, and I feel like I isolate from everything that it was in there somehow because I still have friends, but I think the friends I have here, just because we do the same things, are closer to me now. The culture there, it can be very different as in certain way, but at the end, Hispanic is Hispanic. We are all the same, and at the end is where I get along. Um, and don't get me wrong, my mother-in-law is from the States. She's from Pennsylvania. She's really sweet, but I can notice a cultural difference with me sometimes in a good way. Sometimes I try to take the best of her, and sometimes I'm like, I would do it different. Or sometimes you think, we are so different in certain ways. But I think it's good to be around people that is different all the time because then you can take the best of everybody.
Right, right.
But I think my roots are Hispanic, no matter if it's Argentinian or Mexican or Salvadorian. I work in a restaurant now, and there are people from everywhere. I have one girl is Colombian, one is Salvadorian, Puerto Rican. Like we are all from everywhere.
Mm,
And at the end of the day, when we complain about something, we are all the same.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Share some of the those common
Yeah.
just universal kind of life
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting, interesting. So second time around, I know that you mentioned you the second time around you
Mhm.
stayed because you met your now husband.
Yeah.
How did you meet him?
So back in the day, we were like Miami started getting a place that we were like, oh, okay, let's just explore it, and we went to West Palm Beach. It's an hour away from Miami. It's really beautiful there. It's divided in two areas. You cross a bridge, you have all the rich, amazing houses that if you see it, it's beautiful. The other side is not that nice, but they have another area that is okay, like intermediate. And it used to be back in the day a gym named Bally's. I don't even know if it's still in business, but it's a Bally's Total Fitness. And we had it in Miami, and we also have it in West Palm Beach. So with the same membership, like I assume Lifetime does, you could go to all.
Okay.
So when we were going to West Palm Beach, we were like going, and we were going to the gym there, and that's how like over the time I met Jordan at the gym.
At
Like
the
yeah,
gym. And did you go back to that gym because you saw him and you're like, "Ooh, let me go back to that gym."
yeah. But Jordan was the most introvert person in the entire planet. Yeah. Eventually, we started talking, but he was so I'm a little older than him. He was back then. After that, he was probably 23 or 24, and I was 28 or something like that. I was a little older than him, and but he was very, very naive, very young. Yeah, yeah. Eventually, we date. We went to an Italian restaurant. We meet each other, and we start talking, and then we start spending more time together than the gym. Yeah,
Yeah.
than just the gym. I make him do track, and but believe it or not, because everybody see him so athletic, he throw up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you went back. You what did when you? I mean, you mentioned he's introvert, right? When you went to Bally Total
Yeah.
Fitness, like, what did you see in him that attracted you?
Oh, everything. Like I should.
What?
I think like
She said
sometimes the way.
everything.
Well, that's how I am.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I see a person, and that's my. Then I don't have eyes for anything else. Like I'm
Okay.
that way, and that was happened to him, and I knew right away. Yeah.
Oh, you knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what? So everything about him. What
Yeah.
would you say? What the like the thing that stood out the most?
I think him being introvert, being like the tip, because Miami, you all know that is typical. The Argentinian man is very jumpy, like, like see you in the gym, he likes you and he will talk to you, and you're like, oh, leave me alone, like.
Mm.
But with Jordan was different because he was like something, but not too pushy.
Okay.
So that kind of like I like that, yeah.
Okay. You're like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
Oh, all right, all right.
Yeah.
So who spoke to who first?
Um. I gotta say it was kind of like he was in the machine, and I'm like, you using it? Can I get next? That's
Ah!
it. But that was it, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. And one conversation lead to the other one. Oh, I would like to go to the track, I would like to run, blah, blah. And then you start kind of meeting the person and try to do a workout together. And but again, back in the day, I was very athletic and I was like lifting weights, really heavy weights. And when I met Jordan, we started to work out together. And he went to the elliptical and I'm like, what are you doing? Because I wasn't training that way. He was training like I was supposed to be training. And then he said, well, let's go to track. And that's when we went to track. And it kind of like he little by little started. He was very athletical before, but it was a time that he was just training whatever, just going to the gym.
Just
Yeah.
maintaining his
Yeah.
athletic.
And I think what attracted each other is the fact that we both like it to do a sport. And um, then he started jiu-jitsu and then I started and then we shared something together. The fact that we had something in common. And again, when we used to like train together, and now even, we don't see each other the whole class. Maybe now we do the warm up together. Like he feel like he needs to warm up a little bit, and that's the first round with me. But um, before the gym, he used to have his own training group. I used to have my own training group, girls or whatever. And but the fact that we were sharing something, it was always a good thing to have between us.
I see, I
Yeah.
see. And you mentioned he was an introvert, but once you guys got to
Mhm.
see each other and talk to each other and spend time with each other, did he move fast? Because you're kind of in the limbo of, okay, I'm here for a little while.
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna go back to Argentina.
Yeah.
So did was how fast did I'm assuming it moved kind of fast.
Yeah, he was also temporary there because his mom was having a job there, but he's from Pennsylvania, so he was there also temporary, and then he decided to stay. We decided to keep moving with the relationship, and that was pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that happened, I'm sure,
Mhm.
fast because you decided not to go, like
Mhm.
to figure out a way to make what is it,
Mhm.
Miami a living in Miami.
Yeah, I like it. I love Miami, but I was never convinced to live in Miami, including now. I love visiting. It's like a part of me that if I have to find a place to go, like I love Miami, but I never been convinced to live in Miami because it's at the same time it's too much going on in there. And I mean, is this a place that I want to raise a kid? Probably not. So I mean, it's a
Mm,
fun place to be, but
that's vacation.
yeah, but my sister loves it. She stay there. She works at the Port of Miami, and it is for her. She loves her. She loves having that weather, being on the beach, being on the pool in the winter. I mean, and I get it. It's nice, uh, but to leave, there's like the people can be really rude in Florida, like the shopping center, the supermarket, the driving, and I am
Rude?
that
How
stressed me.
so? How like when they're rude? Like
Mhm.
what kind of?
Oh, you go to supermarket, they don't even say hi. They start clicking. They don't even look at you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I guess it's part of like in Miami, people have so much or people don't have. And
Mm,
I don't know what it is, but it feels like people are mad serving you constantly.
mm,
And I hate that. Like, especially now that I live in Texas, that hospitality or whatever they call it here,
right.
you don't realize until you go to Miami.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Because
So,
that is one thing that I do feel like,
mhm.
usually here, if somebody gives you bad service, it's like you're complaining, like, what do you mean? Like, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Every other place, you go to other place and you usually have smiles
Yeah.
or
Like people look more
welcoming
happy.
you
Yeah.
and, hello, how's your day? Have a good day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that.
And eventually, after a few days, you start feeling the same way. You
Oh.
start feeling rude as them because if you don't turn that way, you feel like people run you over. Like, for real. Because
Oh.
somebody told me that and I realized. And then I'm like, I started for a week. I'm like, I start becoming that way too. Like, it's like everybody is in that, like, I don't know. Maybe it's me that I notice more since I live here. But when I go there, I can notice that.
Mhm, mhm,
But
I
again,
can
I love
see.
Miami. It's beautiful,
Right,
but
right, right.
it
Just
also very expensive. Like to park, you gotta put like the coins or whatever. Like everywhere you park, you gotta pay. You
okay.
don't park on the street.
Okay.
You just to park.
I
So.
see. I see. Okay. And so, did you have these conversations with Jordan as you guys were
Mhm.
dating?
Yeah.
And what was his thoughts on where he wanted to be or where he wanted to settle at that time?
So after that, he started with the track. He liked the track. He got better than me, of course. And then he liked to play football and flag football or whatever he was doing. And it was like a little league in here in Corsicana that he saw. And then we had a dog almost as big as yours, like a Rottweiler. That was
Okay.
huge. And that was another thing. We couldn't like rent places without, it was very impossible to have a place to be there. Then we look on the prices on the properties. Back in the day, were really cheap to have a house here. With the same money that we probably rent there, we could have a house here and be comfortable with the dog. He could do his football. I mean, a lot of things he read about it is a good place to grow a family, and then his mom got a job here too, so we all decided to move in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how fast was that from the time you guys met?
I gotta say it was pretty fast. Maybe less, maybe like a year or something. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe yeah. Yeah, right away I knew I didn't want to live in Miami, and he knew that wasn't gonna be. Like we got the dog and everything, and we were both in trying to do something else, like in another place, or give it
Okay.
a try at least.
I see. I see. So
Yeah.
did you guys move in together right away?
Yeah, we were together even before we were planning Texas. We were in Miami together. We are like, for a certain point, we were gonna move to Pittsburgh, but the winter kind of
Mm.
stopped us a little bit because I mean, I never live in like that kind of snow, but he hated it. He was like, "Oh, you're gonna hate the winter here," and blah blah. And then we decided Texas was the best option. So
I see.
and
And
that
when
came.
you moved to Texas, had Jordan or
Mhm.
yourself started jujitsu already? When did jujitsu
Um,
come into the picture?
so, um, jiu-jitsu, we started in Florida, where we went to the Valente brothers. I was telling your husband this earlier, and we both went there one day. That I mean, Jordan was fun with the track and everything, but he did boxing when he was younger, so he wanted to do some kind of martial arts or mixed martial arts or something related. And back in the day, there weren't any girls in class, and Valente Brothers is more like a self-defense place. So the guy literally, I can't remember his name. He literally told me, "Well, there's no girls in class, so if you want to take it, you got to do just privates. What we all know, $100, $200 private per class." And and my goal, it was not gonna like it was trying to train with Jordan. It wasn't nothing else.
Mm.
So he kind of started. But he did a month, and then he realized that we weren't spending time together because he was going there for like 2 hours or something, and we weren't like training like we used to be. And then he stopped. And then when we moved to Texas, he started here. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And why jujitsu? Because there's multiple
Hmm.
different types of martial arts.
Yeah.
And back then jujitsu was not really as big
Hmm.
as it is now, and it's still growing so
Yeah.
much, right? But and even considering how it's growing, I think right now, I think that
Yeah.
it's still going to continue growing,
Hmm.
so much more. But
Yeah.
back then it was kind of small.
Yeah, when he started, he was looking a little more at Muay Thai. Was more popular probably back then. Or
Hmm.
the school he started, they were having both.
Okay.
Excuse me. They having like Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu, and so he started there. And so the first hour was
Okay.
more Muay Thai, and then you stayed if you wanted for Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
So exactly that's what he was doing. He was doing an hour of Muay Thai, and then in the hour and a half or whatever it was for Jiu Jitsu. And that's how he got me going with Start, because he's like, well, why don't you do the Muay Thai? And then that's it. You can sit down and watch. And I'm like, okay. And then when Jiu Jitsu started, he's like, why don't you just do it? You're already here.
Hmm.
And then I realized I like Jiu Jitsu better because the kicking on that thing and the bruises on my leg, I was like, hell no, I was not doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
tough, Muay Thai.
I
Very tough.
I've seen it, and
Yeah.
well, I saw it really after I tried jujitsu,
Yeah.
and I saw it just at a gym, other people training,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, no, I definitely prefer
Yeah.
jujitsu.
Yeah, I felt like jiu-jitsu was a little more fun. But again, like I guess like every other woman was like the contact, the guy sweaty, you feel all that way. But that's cool. I was really lucky when I started because when we went to, I think it's Black Belt, Mr. Wall, it's out here around in Arlington. Um, he was so patient with me and so like such a great instructor that it made it look like what I was doing is okay. Yeah,
Mm.
and it made me feel really comfortable, and that's how I started.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So in Miami, you didn't really train jujitsu. You just did
No.
Muay Thai.
No, I
Oh,
did
you.
like a class
Oh,
trial.
okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Like I didn't. No, I wasn't really part of it. Like yeah,
Okay.
no.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what were it
Hmm.
was a new sport for Jordan at the time.
Yeah.
And as your partner, what
Hmm.
what did Jordan like about the sport? That, I mean, of course you guys came back and continued
Yeah.
pursuing it. What did he like about the sport? What did he share with you?
So Jordan is a very person that he started sport, and 2 weeks after he tells you, "I want to compete. I want to compete here." And so we went to. I don't even know why we went to Europa, the one they do over Dallas, and they were having jiu-jitsu, and he was, I think, training for like a couple weeks. And he's like, "I want to compete here," and I was like, "No, you're not." And we start like that. And yeah, and he signed up. I don't know. He started there to compete, and that's the reason why we moved to the other school more competitive because he enjoyed. I mean,
Oh,
you can see even these days it's like fun for him to
yeah.
do it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so then you guys decide to move to Texas, and
Hmm.
I know you mentioned your mother-in-law got
Yeah.
a job here,
Hmm.
and the football
Hmm.
leagues that he found were in Corsicana,
Corsicana, yeah.
and so then where did you guys start there?
Hmm.
Did you guys start training jujitsu there, or how did you guys end up in DFW
So we ended up in Grand Prairie.
or
We
Grand?
got
Yeah.
a place in Grand Prairie. We got like cheap. Well, when it wasn't cheap compared to now. Um,
Oh, so you guys came
We
straight
bought
to
it.
Grand
Yeah,
Prairie.
yeah. We got the
Okay.
house. Yeah, we got a house there and straight to Grand Prairie. In fact,
Okay.
we came here to look around and we stayed for like a week or two just looking for houses.
Okay.
So we came back and literally put the dog in the car and the whole thing and we moved. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So, and was he traveling to Corsicana for
No,
the
no,
games, or?
we got the house first, and then he started moving. He was looking that they were having. We moved, and then he started right away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So he started looking after you guys
yeah,
moved to
yeah.
Texas. So what brought you to DFW? Like, what were the reasons?
Well, like literally, it was like the cost of living was cheaper. Everything was, and the house, because with the dog, we wanted to have a house. We didn't want to live in a one um, bedroom apartment with a huge Rottweiler.
Yeah.
And then also try to settle down and find a place to, that we can grow a family or do something.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
just Texas was
Was the place that
was the
yeah.
place.
You
Okay.
use either Texas or go back to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And the winter in Pittsburgh wasn't, no, wasn't,
Got
no.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So then you found a gym with
Hmm.
Coach Wall,
Mr. Wall, yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Wall. And so did he train jiu-jitsu only?
Yeah, well, they haven't. He was the main coach instructor. He still is for jiu-jitsu, and then Mr. Grusho is Muay Thai person was there back in the day. I'm not sure he's still there. And the classes were that way. Like first you were doing that, and second the other class, and there were more girls in the mats. It was more fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his wife, Serena, was I think it. She said she was training too. So when you see a little more, you feel more comfortable. Not like they have to be ladies, but it makes you feel a little more welcome when you start.
I
Yeah.
see. And what happened to at that moment of transitioning? What happened to say like CrossFit or lift training?
So CrossFit didn't come out in my life until probably it's kind of new. Like I could say 7 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, back then it wasn't any CrossFit. We still were training the track. We still were going and lift weights and do
Okay.
our back squats routine and all that. But I guess we were doing something similar in a different way. But CrossFit wasn't in the
I see. Not yet. We'll
yeah,
get there then.
no,
We'll get there. So you guys are
yeah.
training just by yourself, like lift training, the track, running on the track,
Hmm.
and and what was your experience as a new jiu-jitsu practitioner, right? Especially thinking nowadays, um, more people are finding interest in
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu because it's getting bigger, you
Hmm.
know. But back then, so what was your experience as a new jiu-jitsu
Oh,
practitioner, right? Like, what did you see? Especially for say all the people, say the people that listen
mhm.
to the podcast, and they're like, "Yeah, I wonder, how jiu-jitsu can benefit me." Like,
Mhm.
what did you like about it as
So
an
for
athlete?
me, jiu-jitsu was always mentally tough for the fact that I always did the sports that I program myself to do it one way, and you go like a robot and you just go and do it, like either gymnastics or track. I mean, you just got to do what you've been training, and it can be right or wrong, but you're programmed. In jiu-jitsu, it can change. It can give you something else. You are there and you have a plan, but then you got to totally change to plan B, C, and expand and make sure to have it. And that for me was always very challenging because when I was new, I didn't have plan B, C, and all the other stuff. I was having, this is my sweep and let me do it, like literally. So for me, the tournaments, uh, were a little bit harder than training. I was always a good training person. Like if you see me on the mats training, you will say wow. But then in competition, my mind, even if I still was doing good, I guess with the fact that I didn't want to lose was most than anything. But mental wise, I couldn't show my jujitsu because the nervous that I was having and not being programmed and to just do that and nothing else but that and try to relax and do something else was limiting me. And that's what Jordan doesn't have. She just goes without like fearless and and he succeed. For me, it was more like mentally, like I have to do it this way, and it has to be that way and not other way, like for the other sports.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what should challenge me most than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, you have to think more. You have to change what you're doing. you know?
Right. Just depending on your opponent, right?
Uh-huh.
Because every
Yeah.
scenario is different, depending on
Yeah.
who you're going against
Yeah.
and what their strong skills are,
Hmm.
right? And so you have to be able to quickly shift into other
Yeah.
things, and so that challenged you. You had to learn that. So, I see, I see. What did you? What would you say? What would you say like you loved most about other than the mental challenges?
I like that is,
Like as far as the physical or the sport
yeah.
itself.
I like you can just pushing yourself, and sometimes it's so much fun what you're doing that you're not even realizing that you're pushing yourself
Mm,
until you're done. That you can even move because you put it all.
yeah, right.
And I think jujitsu is fun. It's like a chess game, you know. It can be
Mm,
really like it's fun.
it's fun. Right.
It's
No,
like
I
you're
agree.
training, but you're not feeling like you're training because you're having fun.
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, every time I kind of explain jujitsu
Yeah.
to, people that practice it or not, the way I put it is like it's like killing a bird with multiple stones, right?
Right.
Because one,
Hmm.
getting your physical activity in,
Hmm.
right? So I'm a big person of like, okay, if you're gonna you got to do some sort of training every
Hmm.
day to stay healthy, right? For
Right.
health wise. And the reason for that is to stay active, to stay
Hmm.
strong, to stay healthy,
Right.
right? So boom, checkbox, health.
Yeah.
Right. Two, it's fun. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's like you go in there and it is fun.
Yeah.
Three, it's the mental challenge.
Yeah.
Like you have to observe information and like whatever the coach is coaching,
Hmm.
and then you have to process that in your brain,
Yeah.
and then you have to make your body do it, right?
Right.
And then that's there's the time where you get to just drill the
Hmm.
move, but then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I got it. And then you go into a live scenario,
Hmm.
and then you're like, oh, okay, so I need to really practice this move more,
Right.
because it's not as
Yeah.
easy in a live match when you're
Hmm.
receiving, when people are resisting and
Yeah.
trying to not let you do the move,
Yeah. That is
right?
totally changed.
Yeah, and then you find other there, and there's the bonuses where it's like you find other like-minded
Yeah.
individuals, and that just creates even the
Hmm.
environment even more fun.
Yeah.
And you're learning like the plasticity in your
Right.
mind is like you're working, right? You're working it, you're challenging it, and so yeah, it's like it's continuous learning.
It never ends because we were talking the other day, I think with my husband, that we were always IBJJF gi people. Like I train with my gi all the time. And right now, the fact that most schools or the no gi came up more popular, it's given me a lot of challenge because I don't feel like I'm as good as I was with those 10 years that I trained with the gi. I see way more things with the gi because that's all I train. And this is a new challenge for me. Like, I feel like with the no gi, I'm not the rank I am. Like, I don't know how to explain. I feel
Okay.
like with the no gi, it's a new word starting for me, and I've been having fun with it. Like it's something that I'm pursuing to try to get better. It's like you say, you never stop learning.
Right,
So
right,
right now
exactly.
it's a nogi. It used to be that day that we used to have it on Thursdays, I think, and nobody was going. Or hey, bring your gi because it's nogi today, and we ended up training with the gi.
Mm.
Open mats for us were always gi, and now it's not. And then when I have visitors or girls that are very into nogi, even if they're lower ranks, they give me a lot of trouble because that's not. I mean, at the end of the day, you can use your skills for both, but it's a new word for me that I'm having fun trying to get better at it. Yeah,
I see. Yeah,
yeah,
a new challenge to attack,
hmm,
since you
yeah,
and Jordan especially kind of
hmm,
share that aspect of just competitiveness of wanting to
yeah.
be better.
Jordan like Nogi. He was always more into Nogi. He always liked it a lot.
Mm.
I am always with the gi. Like I think like being a woman too. Besides maybe boundaries, it's easy to control when you draw with a guy. The gi stop down and slow that person down a little bit.
Right. You have more
Well,
leverage with the
right.
gi
And while the no gi is a little more athletic, it's like more
skill.
slippery and, harder to. Um, it was always a little harder for me to roll with the males with the no gi than the gi.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, you
Yeah.
have those factors of it's slippery, you don't really have much
Yeah.
leverage versus the
Yeah.
gi. You get sweaty,
Hmm.
so yeah, yeah, I can for sure
So
I
it
can see
was
that.
always better for me to. I feel like I'd be more comfortable with the gi and that in an open mat per se.
I
Yeah.
see, for sure. And so, okay, so you guys go to the first gym, you find
Yeah.
a first gym, you start training there.
Hmm.
You guys are loving it. Did you fall in love with DFW instantly? Did you say, yeah, this
Um,
is what I like?
I was
Or,
really missing a little bit of Miami because Miami has a lot of Argentinian culture. I have friends that still there, and I was missing them. And like I always, you move and you expect, oh, everybody's gonna visit me, stay at my house, and that never happened. Nobody,
mm,
maybe someone pass by and stop by, but that doesn't happen. So
mm,
for a while was like just Jordan and me and trying to realize what we wanted to pursue. He started with a EMT. um he was trying to be an EMT.
okay.
So that's what he was starting to do it. I was back in the day. My brother has like some clothing stores in Argentina. I was trying to help out the more I can through here. And we were living with his mom. His mom had her job, and it was fine for a while. Then you know what, we were like doing more jujitsu, and then eventually all like, well, it's time to have a family, and that's when he was like, well, I think I really like the EMT, but I need to do something a little more. And that's why he started going the school for physical therapy, and
Mm.
he graduates, and we were supporting him for that. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Wow, yeah, a lot. So
hmm,
he liked pursuing the EMT
mhm,
route, but then you guys start talking about raising a family.
right,
So he's like, I need to step it
hmm,
up in some
yeah,
way, right? And to create the future that you guys were
right.
planning on
An
having.
EMT would be good, but the problem with EMT is when you work, they give you the schedule they give you. It's like you work one day, two off one day, and he couldn't continue with school if he was doing that.
I see.
And that's why he really didn't do that much time. He didn't, not for a very long time.
Right. Okay. And so the first jiu-jitsu gym you guys
Hmm.
came and joined.
Hmm.
You mentioned you made the switch to another
Hmm.
gym. And so why did you guys make the switch to another gym?
So at the very beginning, for me, it was fine because competition or not, I wasn't like, but Jordan he always liked competing. I tell you, 2 weeks after he wanted to jump in the tournament. So the school we were going to, they supported competition, but they weren't into competition. They weren't big about it. They didn't care much about it. Um, and it was an awesome school. It's just different goals. And then we find this other school, and that's when we start looking into Alvarez to join. They were competing more, and they were having the girls. The method of training was so different, and
Mm,
it was a little more aggressive on the mats, more like competition wise, and that's what Jordan was looking. And I didn't mind because back in the day I was very athletic, so I like it. I mean, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. And but Jordan started first, and then I remember right away. I think Coach was just like, well, it was I was doing like a spinning classes, and I stopped by there, and he's like, "Do you bring your gi?" I'm like, "No, I'm not starting right now." And he's like, "Well, I have a gi," and he put me a gi and put me on the mat, like to roll right away, and I was like, "Okay," but I had fun with it, and we enjoyed, and then we both started,
yeah.
and then we continue, and then everything after that.
Yeah, yeah. So, how long, because you guys competed quite a bit, right? While you guys were at Alvarez.
Yes, we did a lot. It was like basically our. Well, he was in a school. He went back to school to get his. I think it was at TCC. He started after right away, and we were like he was doing that, and I was continue doing my brother's stuff, and we were training at Alvarez. And then the competitions started. At the beginning was one Dallas Open, one this, one that, but eventually we're more and more, and traveling and setting goals. Let's do 10 a year, and it was fun. It was something fun to do it. We were training a lot, and then I think like the very first year, because I needed to go to Argentina anyways to visit my family, and we were like, well, why don't we go and do Rio Open? And Coach Alvarez wanted to go too, and we all went. I think we went to Argentina first, and then we met them in Brazil, and we all competed in the Rio Open, and it was a lot of fun. Like, yeah, we were like training back there, and then Jordan came back, and he loved the idea to do 6 a.m. because they were having in a gym there, the La Jiva gym had a 6 a.m. And I remember saying, but anybody comes at 6 a.m.? And they look at me like, yeah. The next day, the class was packed. So like, and Jordan was like, we should do this because you get it over through the day. You got your jiu-jitsu. So when we come back to the state, he started at 6 a.m.
Ah, okay. And he started training at 6 a.m.?
He asked Coach Alvarez to do the 6 a.m.
Okay.
and we were going to give it a shot, and I mean, it's not obviously like the evening classes, but it was a lot of little by little people were joining.
Okay.
And now it's more common that the gyms have that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like working out. A lot of the gyms have very early workouts, including like 5 a.m.
Right.
6 a.m. just, to get workouts in. So that makes sense. So Jordan says, hey, let's do 6 a.m. And did he start training that class at 6 a.m.?
Yeah, that was his class.
He started coaching.
It's like today. Unless he's sick or really bad, he won't send anybody, not even me. He will be like, it's like, that's his baby. Like, since day one, he loves 6 a.m. classes.
Mm-hmm. So I want to dive in a little bit into that competition, like the mindset and what you guys would do to prepare this thing. Sorry. I want to dive a little bit into like the competition mindset. Like how did you guys prepare? I mean, of course, training, but how often did you guys train to compete? And like what were some of like just the healthy habits, like what you guys ate, or sleeping, or anything that put you guys in the best shape you could to hit the mats and compete? Like what were some of those habits?
I think the fact that we were like training at least minimum was once a day, because usually it was twice, sometimes even 3. You get yourself to eat correctly, because you can't eat bad or have a margarita and go to train. So that comes naturally. The more you train, the better you're going to eat this. I mean, it's going to be like that, because you even think what you're going to eat before, because you don't want to be too full or... and these days, I mean, eating not so bad. It's not like a rocket science. You can just, I think everybody knows what to eat or not to eat. And then you don't have to be crazy on the food, but you just got to like try to control yourself a little bit. And if you train enough, in reality, that's all you need. And then obviously after the competitions, we were treating ourselves with things we like it, and it seems to be like we are enjoying it even more, because it's like a reward you have,
right
like going to the churrasquerias or things like that, or my wine or whatever I like it to do. It was after. And in Jordan's case, I think it's one of the reasons he still compete, because he put him back on track on the healthy habits and the no drinking a beer here and there, or bad or fast food. He knows he has a competition, and it's important for him. So that is, I think, one of the main reasons that he continued competing.
That makes sense. Like it forces you in a way. And you mentioned like you do the things you got to do, but there's this fly.
I know.
That keeps. I'm telling you, it's been bugging me the whole day, and it's just like circling around us.
I think it's gone.
Okay, so when competing, like you mentioned, like, you eat, right? But I think
Hmm.
sometimes like that is not the case with
Hmm.
all the athletes, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's common sense. You
Yeah.
watch what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
eat. And so, you know, um, like for the people that struggle
Hmm.
on, say, even thinking like, I don't even know
Hmm.
like how to stay healthy.
I think it's all about to prepare yourself ahead of time on what you're gonna eat. Even if you're eating out, know ahead of time what are you gonna eat. If you wait to be hungry and buy whatever is comes first,
Mm.
then you're gonna go with the bad options anyways. Back in the day, I used to, even when he was in school, I used to meal prep for him, and he was having another choice to eat what he was having.
And
We didn't.
what was some of those meal preps you would make?
Like, I don't remember. It was like I always like the chicken on the crock, but I think you can mix it up with everything. It's so easy, and he's really picky with the chicken, so that worked for him, and it was a go. Right now, we didn't have that back in the day, but now we're doing a lot of Hello Fresh or those packaged meals that are already. I know we gotta make them, but it tastes really good. And after we made it, we're like, it's good. Or things like that. If you plan ahead on, now they're gonna open the HEB, so I heard they have good. It's all about to preparing yourself in whatever you're gonna do. And even with my daughter right now, when I don't prepare myself on what she's gonna eat, because she's really picky, I ended up in Chick-fil-A and all those places. And I have no other choice because she's hungry, and that's it.
Right.
So being prepared ahead of time is the best thing you can do if you want to try to keep yourself on track and try to stick with it.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, preparing is really kind of the key for anything,
Yeah.
right?
And the lunch especially because when what it used to be, I don't really like the factor's meal, but it worked for Jordan. He knew he had that meal, and so then he wouldn't stop and get it anything
Mm,
somewhere else because it's a
right.
minute the microwave and I got my meal. And
Right.
it's
It was
better that,
efficient.
yeah, and it's better than what you can get on the street.
That makes sense.
So being prepared, knowing that you have that at home, that's such enormous help.
I
Yeah.
see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All
I
right.
tried them with my fitness pal app. It was good for a while, but then I stopped logging it.
Yeah, it's easy to stop doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you
no
stop.
doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have such passion
Hmm.
just competing and stuff, and just staying in the game
Hmm.
with your body, making it work, challenging yourself, always learning,
Hmm.
right? So, what would you say? What or who inspired you? Like either anytime,
Um,
right? Like
are you talking about jiu-jitsu or in?
just overall, like what's inspired you to always pursuing something challenging in in this case in the athletic
Hmm.
world, like inspired you to keep pushing, to
Hmm.
keep growing, to get stronger,
Yeah.
to get better at the end of the day, because I feel like competitions really is kind of like a way to test yourself where you're at, and kind of
Yeah.
see.
To be honest, I never have idols. Like that's the jiu-jitsu girl, she's awesome. Then I always think, well, yeah, but she's in her 20s, this and that. To me, my idols are persons like, of course, Jordan. I'm not gonna keep talking about Jordan, but the way he works as a father at the gym and all the things he does, and a step on the mat and compete and still perform, and that's for me is huge because I see how much he works outside of that, and how
Mm,
much we got to do. Another. Believe it or not, because sometimes I'm very hard with her, is Miriam. So, as many of you know, she went through cancer twice,
oh,
and
really?
she won master words in brown and in black belt, and she went up there and by herself, and she got on those mats and on fire, so that for me, that somebody can push it through something as big as cancer and still succeed. um, I have a lot of respect for that because
Yeah.
for me, um, I think like if I would like to compete, I probably would do it. But right now, I kind of have like so many things going on that it's not my goal. But when I see people like that, that they have so much going on, and they still go out there and they rock it that way. I have a lot of admiration versus a person that trains 3, 4 times a day and that has nothing to do but to train jujitsu.
I see. Yeah,
So
that's huge.
yeah.
Right. What about growing up, right? Because,
Hmm.
growing up, even just like in the athletic, like, your gymnastics and
Yeah.
track and stuff. And it sounds like that was a big
Yeah.
driver to where you are today, right?
Hmm.
Because you decided to pursue that lifestyle. So
Yeah.
growing up, was there anybody or anything that
Hmm.
inspired you, that maybe somebody had a talk, or you saw something maybe that just kind of ignited that inner
Yeah, I think
fire?
the people that all the people that surround me always were so fired up about getting to the top that inspired me to follow, and I was very lucky to always be surrounded by that.
Mm,
But it's literally the my teammates, everything around me, even in the business today, like as much as I fight a lot with Cooper, um, he when we get to a point, we look at each other's, and we both want the same. We want the team to grow, and that I think we inspire each other. And
right.
I'm pretty sure the fact that he see me that I'm tired and I'm still there and trying to do my best, and I see the same as him, or Jordan or whoever it is, um, inspire you in certain way to keep going. Because
Mm,
you like, I think I'm tired, but he's tired too. He was a nurse all night, so I'm like, but he's here with a smile with the kids, so I have to put the same smile because I can't put the excuse I'm tired.
mm,
So the circle you have around, even in competition, the same. Seeing them that we all have the same time, and some struggle more than the other ones, but they want to pursue something in a push. It's very important. Whoever you have around,
yeah.
like that phrase they say, if your circle doesn't want it, it's so
Right.
true. Like whoever you have next, it can put you totally down, or it can put you up.
Yeah, even,
Yeah.
you did mention that earlier when you were living in Miami, you found yourself,
Hmm.
there were so many people that were kind of rude that you
Yeah.
found yourself kind of being maybe
Hmm.
similarly like they were,
Yeah.
because otherwise, and
It's
they'll,
contagious.
it's
Yeah.
contagious,
Yeah.
right? And then,
It's the same. Yeah.
yes, yeah, wow, okay, that's
Yeah.
that's good insight. That's a good
Yeah. I
point.
never really look into other people like idols. I want to be like this one or that one, or I never really. Yeah, I admire her. So she's awesome, but um, never like in that way. I always look into my internal group, and I probably was always more like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you just kind of get
Yeah.
get fired and just kind of adding to that whole the team thing, right? You
Yeah.
putting your part of working hard and trying to reach similar goals like
Right.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And there's
Mhm.
that saying, it's not there for any reasons, that like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right. So uh shifting things a little bit over to the CrossFit
Yeah.
area, I know that came later in your life. So how did you find CrossFit?
So CrossFit was, I'm trying to think. So we started in Nanda. It was another gym, and they were Jordan was in school, and they were hiring for a coach, and I started CrossFit. And when I actually started coaching mostly before I started coaching. It was really weird, but
So
um,
you started coaching before you started training.
yeah, like the specific CrossFit,
A specific.
or kind of like at the same time, because I
Okay.
always been a coach. Like I did a boot camp, I did other stuff, and obviously I knew Olympic lift and all that because I did it before. But starting CrossFit, I was like almost at the same time. Was very at the same time.
Okay. And let me stop you for a second.
Yeah.
You trained for like to get in the
Hmm.
Olympics, you said? Like
No,
Olympic type training, or
well, when I was doing gymnastics, it was like, what do you mean, like track or what?
whichever.
No, we were like, yeah, we were training like we were wanted to be. We were knew
Oh,
we were
okay.
not going to, but like it was the training was very strict. Yeah,
Okay, I see. I
yeah,
see. Okay, so then you have those,
yeah. I did have an idea of what and was
what it
gonna coach.
takes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But then when I started CrossFit, I felt like it was like what I always did. mix it all together. And it was kind of fun.
Like two worlds into one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was very challenging, like jiu-jitsu in a different way, but both very challenging.
Okay. Yeah.
And I like it.
Right.
Now, it's really hard to do both. They're both very challenging. And if you try to combine them, it takes a lot of you.
What way? Why do you say that?
Because if you don't plan accordingly on your training, you feel dead tired, especially at my age, but like you have to be smart on both the way you train. If you try to go 100% on both, let's say I do jiu-jitsu 100% and then I go to CrossFit and I try to do CrossFit 100%. The next day I'm going to be dead and I probably cannot do neither both. So you got to train smart on both and know how to balance it.
I see.
So in that way you don't get hurt or you don't burn out or you're not that sore that you can even move for 5 days.
I see. I see. So, and did I hear that correctly? You started kind of coaching and then you started kind of training.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We came the Open. We did the Open. We have a lot of fun with it. It's an amazing community. CrossFit community is fun. It's like they do so much together. They're so they push each other. They're like you're like dying and everybody's cheering and it's so much fun. And my daughter was really young, so they were holding her, and I was doing the Open. I'm like, this is fun. And again, it's like you're working out, but you don't feel like you're working out because you're having fun.
Yeah.
And also, when people do like a heavy snatch and in a perfect proper way, it's fun to watch. It's like beautiful to watch. Like there are certain things that out of like there are certain people that are so athletic that it's fun to see it. I always enjoy CrossFit a lot. But I think like my passion at the end of the day isn't jiu-jitsu, but I enjoy a lot CrossFit.
Yes. I can see that. I mean, they kind of feed off each other too,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And if there are certain challenges, you just kind of figure out a way to kind of work through both of those in a smart way. So okay.
And I the fact that I know how to do both, I love it. Like I feel like I'm very blessed because sometimes there are certain days that I don't feel thinking in jiu-jitsu. I have so much going on in my head. I don't know. My daughter gave me a hard time, and I just go and do CrossFit. That I don't have to think that much.
Okay.
And I love it.
Yeah, right. So you have kind of two tools to use.
And I love having that.
Yeah, for sure. So, you have a daughter. So, one of the challenges that a lot of us have, or a lot of moms have, right, after giving birth, it's getting back to the routine or something a little bit back to what you were used to before you had a whole little human that you're now responsible of, right? Because as you become a parent, you're learning a whole new skill that comes with no coaching, right? It's
exactly like that. No coaching.
And it's like you can receive different types of, advice.
Yeah, and it's like so challenging.
Yeah, and it'll all be different because everybody's lifestyle is different, and then every little human is different, and so how did you do it, like to stay active, even after having a child?
So I think like it's the same as we were talking about the food. You really have to organize. And sometimes I feel like when it is weird, but when I have the weeks that I'm more busy, the busiest ever, it seems like to be the weeks that I train the most because I know that's the only time I have and I better do it. When I have the whole morning, I start doing something else, but the things I have to do. Like I start doing this, that, and then the time I look and it's 12 o'clock and I didn't get anything done. But when it's like the day, I only have 10 to 11, so I better train. Then I get it done. And it's so weird, but it's like the same as the food. You just got to plan ahead.
You just got to plan ahead. Yeah. You have to make it a priority kind of thing, right? Because
and especially with the kids, you just can't just like put the kids on the way. Well, I don't train. You need to find a way because as they grow, they want to see their parents And even if you don't do jiu-jitsu, do something else, but take care of yourself should be a priority. Yeah, for everybody, especially if you want to do it for your children, if you don't want to do it for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I think it's like okay, if if you do like this is the way I feel, right?
Hmm.
Like if I want to be a good mother,
Hmm.
right, to say my daughter, if I want the best for her, if I want her to go out there and live her best life, it always kind of falls back to like
Yeah.
myself. We are the role models, right? And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
if we really want her to do the things that are healthy for
Hmm.
her, then we have to do those things for ourselves. We have to put, our,
Hmm.
our health first,
Yeah,
which involves some sort of physical activity. For me, it's
definitely.
jujitsu. For Logan, is both jujitsu and CrossFit.
Right.
And so I think that is important to prioritize and, like you said,
Yeah.
find the time
Yeah, you find the time if
to
you want
get
to.
it
Yeah,
in. Yeah,
that's definitely true.
and so, if you're like, yeah, I have to, but I have so many things going on. But then if the goal really is to be
Yeah.
healthy, especially
Hmm.
for your kids, then, it should be something that needs to be
Yeah.
prioritized.
And to me, it always was a lifestyle. I never see like everything I was doing is just my part of my
Mm,
day, like I never feel like a punish that I need to go to the gym or I need to go to the jiu-jitsu. I always enjoy it, like, and it was part of my day, like to know that I'm gonna. If I wasn't doing that, something is incomplete. It's like I
right.
didn't start the week right. Well, this week is gonna be an off week because I'd already started in the wrong way.
Right, right, right.
So,
And so, how long have you been doing jujitsu now?
well, it's like 19. It's probably like 13 years.
13
Yeah.
years. Black belt right here that we're talking
Yeah.
about, 13 years. So for anybody that's thinking about, say, joining
Mhm.
jujitsu, for anybody that maybe doesn't really, it's afraid, say, to
Mhm.
go in the doors because it's kind of intimidating for most people,
Yeah.
right? It's like some sort of physical
Mhm.
thing, sport, right? That
Yeah.
is just not jumping on a treadmill and that's it.
Yeah.
It's you're it's a physical
Yeah.
thing
That
with
is.
another partner. What would you say to most new like people that are wanting to join, that
Mhm.
are thinking about joining?
They definitely won't regret it because, like, I started in older age, and I say, like, I wish I started earlier. Uh, just not to focus and try to get the belt. That's really like it will come. Everybody's gonna get to black belt, like everyone. Now take your time and try to see where you are and just enjoy the journey. And don't get overwhelmed. You have all life to learn. Not a month,
Hmm.
no 1 year, all life. And it's like trying to rush to get to high school if you didn't do all the other years. Eventually, your coach will know when to promote you because like when we sit, we can say the name of a person and we know exactly where that person is at.
Mm.
And if they don't promote you, it is definitely for a reason. It's not because you're behind. It's not because you suck. It's because we need that extra little piece of a puzzle to get better and be that belt that you want to be. And if you get promoted also sooner, that's also for a reason to put you forward because you're in that stage or you belong to that stage. So sometimes people in promotions they take it a little personal. It's nothing personally about it. It's the opposite. You're all gonna get
Mm.
to black belt, okay? But you
Mm.
want to be in that belt that you belong and you feel strong, that you feel like that you can put a fight back. You don't want to be and having that belt and get tapped by a lower rank and then feel well I wasn't ready. And that happens. Don't get me wrong. I got tapped by lower ranks a lot of times, but you want to feel like you have your game in you and you're able to understand all the concepts,
Mhm. Mhm.
because I never really work on concepts until I met well, I met Coach Bean before, but Coach Bean as a coach is
Mm.
very different as a teammate.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
because we were teammates. So as a coach, and when he talks about concepts, I feel like I'm able to understand better now over all these years that the me white belt long time ago. You know, if you put me in the past, I would probably be all, kind of like, yeah, but not the same. So you wanted to get there to be able to understand. You don't want to like miss any steps.
I see. Like he does go very deeply into the concepts, the
Yeah.
foundation, the mechanics,
Right.
right, of
Yeah.
the move and why and different
Yeah.
ways. And so yeah, he definitely does have.
Yeah, I feel like the way he coaches is like how my daughter is learning math. Like they're learning with blocks now. That is very different than we used to, just to learn and memorize and do it. And at the beginning, I was like, why they learning this way? This seems like to be more difficult. And when I talked to another math teacher, it's like because we want them to understand, not just to memorize and do it.
Oh,
And I felt like the way I used to learn, it was that memorize the move and don't ask why, don't get there. And with Bean, I feel like it's like the new, they tell you the why. And that way you're more able to absorb the move than the old way.
right. You understand it at a deeper level.
Right.
You understand why.
Right.
And yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think it makes him a little different on that. He's able to explain in a way that everybody understand better that way.
I see. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, you fell in love with these two sports. Now you're a co-owner of a gym that offers both of these options, right? So, what inspired you to open your gym? Because I understand it was CrossFit first, right?
Yeah, we were having CrossFit, and then we wanted to have the place that we have in our own way. Like one of the things I love in a Stoic is that we don't have the main master, sensei, coach, professor, or whatever name you want to put. We are all like a group of black belts, everybody with their own style. If you see Cooper with Jordan, there are different styles. Everybody's different style, and there is no a main figure that everybody has to adore or follow. That it totally seems to be like one of the things. I mean, and nothing against that, but I like the culture we have, that everybody respect each other, but it's also fun and everybody get to have different. Because I love to do, like, for example, when I do Jordan's class, then he shows the move. Then I got one or two things. Then I go to Cooper, another one, two things. Then I go to Bean, and then I put it to my game, whatever I like best.
Whatever works for you.
Yes,
best.
and I love that. So having our own gym and be able to have that we are all in the same page, but we all put the ingredients. I really love that at the gym. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great way to put
Yeah.
it. It's like it's one goal, it's one recipe, right? It's one
Right.
goal.
Yeah.
And then but everybody gets to put in their different ingredients, a
Yeah.
different piece of that and then you just eat. You
Yeah.
take whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. And so but and did I get that correctly? You guys started with
Yeah, we started with CrossFit.
CrossFit
and
first.
Right away, when we're looking at the space, I got to her and say, well, we can put some mats in case here. I'm like, those mats are not going to fit. And then when we start, like, then Cooper came to the equation. And I'm like, well, we're going to give it a try. But you guys know that my thing right now is CrossFit. And then it bloomed. Like, it was like one, boom. We supposed to start it, sorry, the kids classes like September, and by July we already start having kids and kids and kids, and from there we just keep going.
It just kind of kept blooming. Yeah. Okay, so and the reason why you guys wanted to kind of start this other thing, did you guys think of like, okay, we'll train Jiu Jitsu at some point?
Yeah.
We'll start with CrossFit, and then was that the
it
goal?
was a goal to get to both.
To get to both.
Yeah,
Okay.
I always wanted to have both because, again, I feel like they go together in certain way. A lot of people don't see it that way. Like, I still fight some that they don't, but like I feel in certain way it goes together. And I always like that to
Yeah.
have it. And sometimes you're gonna have people that just want to do like I say, I want to do sometimes jiu-jitsu, and sometimes I just want to do CrossFit.
Right.
And why not to have both?
Right. Yeah.
So
Both options. So
yeah,
as a business owner, a lot of business owners will probably relate.
yeah,
It's not it's not a piece of cake, say,
mm,
to own and manage and run your
yeah,
own business, whatever business it is, right? And in
yeah,
this case, I mean, you have two gyms. You have like staff you have to take care
mm-hmm,
of. You have the students you
mm-hmm,
have to take care of, finances and
yeah.
everything that kind of comes into it. So, did you guys how do you manage to kind of keep everything on track and keep growing it?
So as long as we start growing, we start adding people, we start adding help, like and we were really lucky to have great people, like how we have Pedro is a big thing that we have at the gym. Like he managed a lot of things that we probably weren't even capable to do. And then Cooper is behind the scenes as much as he goofs around, but he does a lot behind the scenes. And then we start getting we got a new person on the front desk that, and like little by little we start adding more things and more help
That makes
because it's
sense.
growing. Yeah, you
Mm.
have to. Yeah,
Yeah, right,
yeah.
for sure. That's that. So help is it's
Oh,
key.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, couldn't do it without
yeah,
it for sure.
yeah,
And I will say Pedro is huge. I mean, I
yeah.
was gonna before I joined
Mhm.
Stoic, right? I was gonna go try out another gym
Mhm.
and you spoke of
Yeah.
Miriam earlier, and when I walked in, like,
Mhm.
I know nobody. I'm like, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
check out the place and then I'll check another one.
Right.
But I do like how well, first when I walked
Mhm.
in, everybody was so welcoming, like
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
There was several people, and especially Miriam.
Mhm.
Miriam stood out because she was extra helpful,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she was kind of telling me
Yeah.
some of the stuff you guys do and how you guys do it, and then I got to talk to Pedro, which
Yeah.
is like, okay, are we gonna do the try? Are we gonna sign up? And Pedro spoke so highly,
Mhm.
and one of the reasons why I just didn't even
Mhm.
try out the other gym was because Pedro said his daughter had been
Mhm.
doing it and now he was doing it, and he spoke very highly about the
Yeah.
culture, and he just seemed like a guy that
Yeah.
that kind of he was like very he didn't stutter when he
Right.
said, "Hey, like this is a great gym."
Yeah.
I wanted to help him out because I care about it so much that I want to continue seeing growing, and it's
Right.
already grown so
Yeah.
much. And I was like, "Wow."
Yeah. He's like a big thing we have there, and
I
and
was like, I
Katie, everybody, like we were like super lucky with the members too. We have some members. It's like it's certainly and some people are like, well, we don't like the family, or some other gyms they don't like the family atmosphere. We love the family atmosphere because we have both. When they go to tournaments, they go hard, but we also totally family friendly. I love doing events for the kids. I love the annual Halloween party. Last year, the trunk or treat was awesome. Like there were kids everywhere, and and that kind of family atmosphere. I mean, we all have families, so we're going to put the kids. I mean, I like to do stuff for the adults too, but I do a lot of stuff for the kids. Yeah.
yeah, and it makes sense. You have a
Yeah.
young daughter,
Yeah,
and so
she. If I don't do the Halloween party, she'll be the first one to tell me. They love. Last year was fun, and or the Christmas party. All those we do it yearly. Yeah, then they have a lot of fun. Yeah.
yeah, and it's I think, personally, I think that's definitely a big
Hmm.
bonus. Like, it's not a requirement to
Yeah.
whatever gym that I decide to go
Hmm.
to. It's not a requirement, but I think it's definitely a plus
Yeah.
when, you have a similar goal. Hey, we're this is this group because this is what we do. We
Yeah.
train jujitsu, right? And on top of that, it's not just oh, this is my gym. It's kind of like, hey, like it kind of
Yeah,
it like this is almost part of my family, like a different
right.
branch. Like this is my jujitsu
Yeah,
family.
because it's for me. I don't feel like I'm the owner of stock. I feel like it's the gym. It's like I cannot see the owner or the coach. It's like a big community that everybody helps and do, and we want to have like the best there. And some people like to compete, some people don't, and nobody really like push. Nobody's gonna force you to compete. If you want to compete, fine. If you don't want to compete, it's fine too. Like I don't know if you ever rode with Soana, but Soana really doesn't compete or even Ben. And
I rolled with her once, and man,
yeah, so like you don't have to. Like if you can do whatever you want, and if you that push that you got to do it for the team, I'm not agree because you have a life and you can do whatever you want. Like, but
right.
I like that atmosphere we have. That we have people that they go for the grind, and some people, family people, like I say, and some people, they just don't want to compete, and it's totally fine.
Right. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
you basically you respect everybody's goals if they're
Hmm.
there to have fun and learn for their
Yeah.
own reasons, or if they're there to compete.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's like it's you'll support
Yeah.
whatever decision they
Exactly.
make.
Yes.
And so yeah, I do love that
Hmm.
about it because everybody's life is different.
Yeah.
Everybody has different stuff going on, and sometimes you go to the gym and things
Yeah.
may be going on at home that nobody else
Yeah.
knows.
Yes. Exactly.
So if you go to the gym and you are say for example, you go there and maybe the um uh you're feeling maybe a lack of respect for
Yeah.
your and even though you're doing what you can to
Hmm.
show up every day.
Right.
So it's like an atmosphere. Like the way I look at it, it's like
Hmm.
I would say when I started jujitsu
Hmm.
overall,
Hmm.
I was on fire. Like I'm like, this is it
This is for me.
for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did I not know of
Yeah,
this
I
before?
have yesterday an open mat. I was sitting, and I think Jordan was rolling with Sag, and they were having a great round. And one of the new guys sit next to me, and he's like, "You have no idea how much I love this." And I was like, "Oh, that's great," like
Yeah.
because that's when you started. When you feel like that,
Yes.
it's awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And so, it's like when I tried out, your gym
Hmm.
and stuff, and it's like like when I went there and everybody is like so welcoming.
Hmm.
I'm like, this says a lot about the gym. And I
Yeah.
got so excited. Again, kind of
Yeah.
like the first time that I stepped on a mat
Yeah.
before, I was like, wow. I'm like, I feel like this is it.
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, the fact that, you guys are
Hmm.
still growing, but not just that I could tell kind of like the goals just by even looking before I even kind of came
Yeah.
in. I saw that you guys had like 3 classes
Yeah.
that are fundamentals only, right?
Yeah.
So when I started, it was kind of like you just show up to class and you just
Yeah.
kind of start and you go with
Yeah.
the flow, right? But I'm like, okay, with the fundamentals, I'm like,
Mhm.
after having an experience in jujitsu, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's so important
It really
because
is because it's intimidating sometimes to just go in a class and see a technique really quick is that it feels almost like a warm up and then jump into the rounds. Especially as women, we have a lot of anxiety. And I feel like some of the ladies I have like people they just only do the fundamentals. And it's okay. One day I'm sure they're gonna jump into a round when they feel comfortable and their own pace. But you shouldn't
right.
be like trying to push people in your way because my way is not your way and it's not a better way. It's just not your way. Somebody's not ready or doesn't want to do it, like
Right.
can just
And it's a way to kind of soften like the
hmm
the very first I feel like, especially after talking to A few people that tried it for a
Mm-hmm.
first time, they're like, no, this ain't for me. Like
Yeah.
I tried bringing some of my friends, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, they just don't know. Like if
Mm-hmm.
they would give it more time,
You
I
learn,
know
yeah,
they're
yeah,
athletic.
yeah,
I'm like, it's just too much at the beginning. So having those
yeah,
fundamental classes, it's kind of like, okay, well, you
yeah.
stay there until you feel you're ready, right?
Right.
Because I heard this a while ago, and I think it's so true. It's like
Mm-hmm.
kids when they learn
Mm-hmm.
how to do anything, they learn so fast because they're
Right.
having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so true. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like it's not different with
Yeah.
adults. It's like you can learn faster
That way. Yeah.
when you're having fun. And
Yeah.
so sometimes people, it may take a little bit longer to warm up,
Yeah. But
but
eventually, yeah.
having those options of
Yeah.
fundamentals helps with letting them learn the sport a little bit better before they even
Yeah.
quit,
Or I
right?
also have members that they want to have the fundamentals and then they want to go to CrossFit or I mean, they just want to move around. I mean,
Right.
their goal is try to learn at their own pace. They're not trying to be the best belt ever. I mean, they're trying to at their own time, at their own pace. Everybody's pace is different.
Right, right,
So
right. Yeah, they're just trying to
yeah,
do something better,
yeah.
regardless of where the potential is.
Right,
And
and it's the same at CrossFit. We have we don't do fundamentals, but we go with one on one with because the classes are very small, so we try to keep it more coach member like one by one, or we just modify, we just scale the movement until we can do it correctly or get it better, even if you got to do it with a PVC pipe. And that's a lot of things that people didn't understand about CrossFit. They're like, they'd see well, I cannot do that muscle up. I'm like, well, you don't need to do that muscle up. You're gonna start doing like a jumping and just touching the bar or something very, very simple,
baby steps.
Right. And then you go, and then, but I guarantee you that the day that you can achieve a pull up, you're gonna be so accomplished.
Right.
And it happens. I see people. I have a lady cry for a box jump, like she was able to do a box jump and she couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
the thing, right? Like everybody's at different levels, and
Mm-hmm.
then the goal is not to be better than X person.
Mm-hmm.
The goal, I always think, it's to be better than yourself was
Exactly.
yesterday.
Yeah.
So be better, try to be better at least than
Yeah.
yesterday, right? And it's the competition is with you because you can't really compare yourself to
No.
anybody else. I
It's
mean, it's two
everybody's
different paths,
different. Yeah.
two different bodies. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, you can have a goal such as X person, but you can't really compare yourself, I
Right.
don't think.
No, that's for sure.
And so yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So that's where do you think where what are your goals, say, for this newfound um what are your goals for Stoic Jiu Jitsu
For sec.
and
Um,
CrossFit 287?
well, right now with a Stoic, we're trying to double the classes. We open it up Tuesday, Thursday for the kids, which is going to be a different program than the one we have, and we're trying to double the number there. That's our goal, to try to get more kids, and with the adults, trying to set it up the classes. We have like little gaps on things that we're trying to fix and organize. We're still working a lot of how the gym look in the inside, paint little things that it feels like it's been 2 years open, but we feel like we never end having the gym the way we wanted to have. And we're
Hmm.
working with what we have, but like we're moving areas constantly and trying to accommodate the best we can. So right now our goal, I can say, is probably that, to have the gym have the way we want it to have. We want to start doing seminars eventually um, this year. So it's the second year. So we were trying to get our students that they want to step up because sometimes also competing as a team, even if you're not a competitor like AGF, it's a lot of fun because you go with the whole team. You feel like you're doing a round at home, and they've been enjoying that a lot, going to eat after And this year, we're trying to get them into whatever, try to pick a couple tournaments out of there, especially the kids. Eventually, the following year, the third year, to try to see if they want to step up in Dallas Open or some other one. This year, we didn't, but we show up since Jordan was competing, and we look around and we notice, hey, our students are not much, they're not behind. Even if we are like 2 years open, they can totally put a good fight in there. So we
Well,
were
there's a lot of great teammates.
right. So I see around, and I guess I always have like, well, that's a tournament I always did, and I knew how hard it was, but I haven't been there since we have the gym. And the last time I went, I look around, I'm like, well, all my students can be totally here. So we talked to Cooper, and like next year we're gonna try to let them go in. And again, so we're not like I think the best thing I ever did is not try to look what other academies are doing. And believe it or not, it's the truth. I don't care if they. I mean, of course, we're gonna pursue for the team trophy, but it's not our main goal. My main goal is to try to get my students the best version of themselves, especially if they like to compete. I care less about whatever else is around. I mean, of course, I want to win, but if it comes with it, it's great. And if not, I want to feel like my team belong to those mats, and that's the goal.
I
And
see.
I can totally see that they do.
Yeah.
So why not?
Right.
Eventually. Um, and then the ladies team, we have a lot of ladies, and they keeps popping up. I got a new lady, she's a police officer. She started, then for whatever reason she quit. Now she came back. She's showing both CrossFit and Jiu Jitsu, and I think our ladies team is getting really good. Like, we have some good girls, and trying to that's why here and there I try to put them together. I think it's a great group of ladies.
Yeah.
And like somebody commented in one of the posts, when you see ladies at the gym, it's because it's a great community. And I feel like that's what it is, because most of the wife, they start joining, they go on Fridays. So you go on Fridays and you see a lot of the girls. And it's something good to see. It's good
Yeah.
to see ladies joining, and don't be afraid to do jujitsu.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
love that. And the kids program is growing. I wanted to do, and everybody's like, you crazy, but I would love to do in the future a parent and me class. And it sounds crazy, but like I feel like it would be a cool thing for the younger ones, because I feel like when I was have Victoria and she was 2 or 3, I didn't have much going on to do with her. Like they were like, now probably start a little more soccer, gymnastics, but um, how cool it would be like to introduce at that age. So that's a project I have, and
Right.
I'm still working on it. But I would love to do something like that in the future. That's
Yeah.
one of the things I had
I
in my head.
see. Yeah, what the beautiful thing about it is you have the
Mhm.
platform, and and now it's like, okay,
Yeah,
you can once ideas come into play, you can plan for it, you can
yeah,
shoot for it. And I think that is the beauty about,
yeah,
the position you are in. It's like you can
yeah.
do so much.
But I can talk about it now after we did the tinies, which is they are like 4 to 6. At the beginning, we were like, because it's challenging that age. You almost need a one-on-one coach, but we were able to manage. The class is fun. The kids love it, and I feel like eventually we will be ready to move on to parent kid.
Mm.
That's my next kind of goal towards kids. The adults is the ladies. I want to have a good ladies team, competing or not. I want to, like, if I have a visitor, that one of my ladies is able to keep up with whoever is coming on the same belt or weight.
Right.
Um, and that's pretty much it. Then with the adults are doing awesome. The classes are going great. And then again, like little details around the gym that doesn't seem to be finished since it's a warehouse. It feels like you never get it the way you want it, and that's one of the challenging things we have. But but
It's little by little, right?
yeah,
But you guys
yeah,
are doing a lot of changes right
hmm
now, and as it keeps growing, you
yeah,
guys will, eventually. I think it's kind of like a home project.
yeah,
Once you start, somewhere, it like never ends.
Yeah.
You can say, "Oh, I'm just going to do this small project," and then
Right.
that thing will lead into another.
Yeah.
And when that lead into
It's
another.
exactly like that.
And it's like feels like never ending. Like I think Logan started, I think before that, now he's really into woodworking, but before the way he started, well, at the very, very beginning, he's like, okay, I'll figure out how to learn how to just replace our baseboards.
Right.
And you know, from that, it's like, oh, now we got to do this, and now we got to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And
That's
it's
how
just,
I feel with the gym. I feel like I look around, oh, now that stairs, they need to call it, and you feel like it's always something. But
it's always something, but that's what's fun
Yeah.
about it, right? There's always
Yeah.
something to pursue. And of course, everything takes time. And as a gym grows, and
Right.
what you guys are doing, it sounds like it's fun to watch. Even you know,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
that
they
you guys
grow,
are
yeah.
investing back into the gym, which
Mhm.
ultimately you guys really what you guys are doing is you guys are investing back into your students.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so, you know, as a student
Yeah.
myself, like I see that and I
Mhm.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is where I want to
Yeah.
be. Right. And so,
And now one of the things that CrossFit lead me that I really like is they do a lot of community events, and they do a lot of stuff like that. And I wanted to transfer to Jiu-Jitsu because I feel like the Jiu-Jitsu community, besides tournaments or maybe about promotion, they don't do as much. And it's like why not, you know, like, and
Right.
if you ever see how, or you ever have the chance when they do the open in CrossFit, it's fun. They do a cookout. It's like, even if you don't work out, you have fun doing it. And sometimes that's what I do, a lot of extra events, and we enjoy it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun. It definitely adds to the level of fun.
Mhm.
And okay, so you know, we'll be getting to wrap this up. So for the people that don't know where
Mhm.
Stoic is located in
Mhm.
CrossFit 287, where are you guys located? And I'll drop all this info too on the
Yeah, we are
description.
in 1910 Lone Star. We are in Mansfield, Texas. It's right out of 287. I think it's quite across the volleyball place. Yeah.
Lone Star Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By Somerset, by Somerset.
By Somerset, yes. Speaking of Lone Star Road, you guys recently adopted that highway.
We did. And that was Pedro's idea. And at the beginning, I'm like, are you thinking I cleaned the airport? I cleaned my house and I cleaned the gym and I cleaned the road too. He's like, yes, you can, Natalia. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Yes.
But actually, it was really fun to do it because at the beginning we were like, well, it was really funny because my daughter started crying and she got, because she does once a month a piano lesson, she hated. And she was crying hysterically. And I thought it was just because the piano lesson. I was like, it's not that bad. And no, it was because she wanted to clean the road. And we were there half hour late.
Oh, she
enjoyed-
wanted to.
She had so much fun with it. She put the best on her, and with the other kids, we were all cleaning around. And it was actually a nice day, and we had fun with it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be, oh, we got to clean, but we ended up
was
we
fun.
have a laugh about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And doing community
Yeah.
service at the end of the day.
And you know what? For everybody, it's like if you have a business, it's not as bad as it looks, and it's quarterly, and you get a sign that people pass by, because how many people a day pass by at that intersection?
Right.
You know, so it's and honestly, it was really dirty, but it was fun. But no, when they cut the grass, they kind of clean a little bit. So I think that day, but normally it's not too bad. So if you have a business, if you want, you might want to consider it's not as bad as you think it is.
Yeah. And plus for a
Yeah.
great cause, right?
Yeah.
It's like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we all have our homes, but at the end of the day, the earth is our home.
Yeah, so like there were like basically like the bottles and all that, those things around that people throw out the car, and they were easy to put it on the garbage, and they give us the garbage, they give us everything. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Awesome. So every episode,
Mhm.
Natalia, we end it with two final questions.
Okay.
And the first question is, what is the greatest piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, I did receive a lot, but um, for anything, no?
For
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, anything.
Always see the red flags. Always.
Ooh, always see the
Don't
red
ignore
flags.
that. It's for a reason. So yeah,
Mm.
but in everything, it can
That's different
be.
than what I've received, and I like it. Don't
It can
ignore it.
like yeah, it can be on anything. It can be on a job. It can be your relationship. It can be with a friend. It can be in a lot of things. I mean, I know sometimes we have our days, but when you start seeing too many of those,
Don't ignore them.
yeah, and I know because the other individual is a bad person. It's because maybe you're not in the right place or you're not doing something you're supposed to be doing. That's all.
Interesting. I
Yeah,
love that. I love that.
yeah.
And the second question is,
Mhm.
what is your personal definition of happiness? Right. So, and I say
Oh,
your personal definition because everybody feels happiness a different way, or they have
yeah.
different motives.
Hmm.
So, what is yours?
I found that like, and it's controversial because I say you should be first priority, but I've realized that when my daughter is like not happy, it absolutely pushed me back on being happy. And I don't know why. It's like it does like an effect right away. Or it can be Jordan too. Like when the people I love are not happy, I feel like something is wrong.
Mm,
And I
mm-hmm.
can start thinking and it feel like it set me back on that. And I'm trying to work on it and say, well, he can sleep, and then he's sleeping, he's fine. And then, or my daughter, it's just a moment, she'll be all right. And then she's all right. So I try to focus myself and don't try to get involved and do that to me, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm able to enjoy more what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like your family is it's important
Important.
to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think like in certain way I don't have my other family is too far away, so that's all I have in here.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's an
Right.
only kid, and obviously like the center. Yeah, in
Yes.
Jordan. Yeah,
For sure, for
yeah.
sure. No, I love that. And Natalia, I want to thank
Hmm.
you for your time.
You're very welcome.
I want to thank you for just, being open and sharing with us your
Hmm.
your life journey so far.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, that was great. We pushed it. We were like, go busy,
Yeah.
but we made it.
Yeah, we made it. We made it. Well, thanks again. And I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And let us know what you think, any comments, and see you next time.